For over 3 millennia, the Orion Dominion has ruled the galaxy with an iron grip. Their empire stretches across countless star systems, leaving no room for resistance. Their fleets are a terrifying sight, sleek silver ships that glimmer like predators under distant starlight, their energy shields shimmering faintly, like a second skin of light. These vessels are symbols of domination, gliding through the void with an elegance that belies their destructive power. Wherever they go, submission follows. On the bridge of the *** eclipse sovereign ***, the Dominion's flagship, Grand Marshal Kale, stands tall, his imposing figure framed by the cold glow of the stars outside. His 4 piercing eyes, a deep crimson hue, scan the planet below, a small green and blue orb trembling under the shadow of the Dominion's fleet. The metallic scales covering his body glint faintly under the dim light of the command deck, giving him the appearance of a predator poised to strike. Kale's voice is low, almost a growl as he speaks. "Another world to join the Dominion," he mutters, his tone dripping with disdain. His confidence is absolute, born from centuries of unchallenged conquest. The Dominion's plasma weapons can vaporize entire cities in seconds, and their energy shields have never been breached. No species has ever dared to resist them, and this planet with its primitive defenses would be no different. The bridge hums with quiet efficiency. Officers move swiftly between their stations, their faces calm, almost bored. This is routine, a conquest like any other. The surrender of the planet is expected, inevitable. The Dominion's might is overwhelming and resistance is futile. But then the calm shatters. A sudden ripple disturbs the fabric of space itself, like a stone tossed into a still pond. The stars beyond the viewport twist and distort, their light bending unnaturally. A tear appears in the void, a jagged wound in reality, and from it emerges a ship unlike anything the Dominion has ever encountered. The vessel is massive, its angular silhouette stark and menacing against the backdrop of the stars. Its hull is dark, almost black, with sharp, jagged edges that seem to slice through the emptiness of space. Strange, flickering energy patterns pulse across its surface, like veins carrying some unknown lifeblood. The ship exudes an aura of raw, brutal power, a stark contrast to the sleek elegance of Dominion vessels. For the first time in years, Kale's confidence falters. His crimson eyes narrow, his scaled hands tightening around the railing before him. "What is that thing?" he demands, his voice sharp and commanding. The officers on the bridge freeze for a moment, their usual composure replaced by unease. They scramble to their consoles, their fingers flying across controls as they attempt to analyze the intruder. The air grows tense, heavy with uncertainty. "Grand Marshal," one of the officers stammers, his voice trembling slightly. "The ship, it doesn't match any known design. Its energy readings are anomalous, unlike anything we've seen before." Kale's gaze remains fixed on the alien vessel, his mind racing. This was no ordinary ship. It radiated defiance, a challenge to the Dominion's supremacy. For centuries, no one had dared to stand against them. And yet here it was, a shadow in the void, a mystery wrapped in menace. The silence on the bridge is deafening, broken only by the faint hum of the ship's systems. The officers exchange uneasy glances, their confidence shaken. Kale's voice cuts through the tension like a blade. "Prepare the fleet," he commands, his tone colder than the void outside. "I want answers now." As the Dominion's fleet begins to shift into position, the alien ship remains motionless, a silent sentinel in the darkness. Its presence is a challenge, a question that hangs heavy in the air. Who dares to defy the Orion Dominion? Kale's confidence, once unshakable, now feels like a fragile facade. Somewhere deep within him, a seed of doubt begins to take root. For the first time in centuries, the Grand Marshal of the Orion Dominion wonders if his empire's reign might not be as eternal as he once believed. Within the cold, endless void of space, the *Un's resolute ** drifts with quiet purpose. Its dark, angular hull seems to drink in the starlight, its surface alive with faint, pulsing lines of energy, alien in origin, but unmistakably human in its defiance. This ship is no ordinary vessel. It is the culmination of years of secret toil, a masterpiece forged in the shadows of Earth's greatest minds. It carries not just weapons, but the hopes of an entire species. On the Resolute's bridge, Captain Ethan Ward stands at the helm, his gaze steady as he surveys the fleet of the Orion Dominion. The Dominion's ships, gleaming and predatory, encircle the trembling planet below like vultures around a dying animal. Their presence is suffocating, their intent unmistakable. Ward's face betrays no fear, though the weight of the moment presses heavily on his shoulders. His sharp features are illuminated by the dim glow of the ship's controls, his dark eyes reflecting both determination and the faintest flicker of unease. Around him, his crew moves with precision, their faces a mixture of focus and tension. They know what they are up against. Lieutenant Ava Lin, his second-in-command, steps forward, her voice steady but tinged with urgency. Dominion fleet has surrounded the planet, she reports, her sharp eyes flicking between her console and her captain. Their weapons are armed, but they haven't targeted us yet. Ward nods slowly, his lips pressing into a thin line. The silence stretches between them, heavy with unspoken possibilities. Finally, he speaks, his voice calm but firm like the steady rhythm of a heartbeat. "Let's introduce ourselves," he says. "Move the Resolute between the fleet and the planet. Open a channel." The bridge crew moves as one, their hands flying across controls with practiced ease. The Resolute glides forward, its imposing silhouette cutting through the void like a blade. It positions itself directly between the Dominion fleet and the vulnerable planet below, a silent declaration of defiance. Moments later, the Dominion fleet receives a message. The words are simple, delivered in a tone that is neither aggressive nor pleading. "We are here in peace, but we will defend ourselves." On the bridge of the ** Eclipse Sovereign ** Grand Marshal Kale listens to the transmission with growing disdain. His scaled lips curl into a sneer, his crimson eyes narrowing as he leans forward. "Primitive fools," he mutters, his voice dripping with contempt. To him, this is nothing more than a minor inconvenience, an insect daring to challenge a titan. Kale gestures sharply to his communications officer. "Send our standard ultimatum," he orders, his tone cold and dismissive. "Surrender or be destroyed." The Dominion does not wait for a response. Their suppression beams, weapons designed to disable any ship with a single, overwhelming pulse of energy, are unleashed in a brilliant cascade of light. The beams streak across the void, their crackling energy promising annihilation. But something unexpected happens. As the beams strike the Resolute, they dissipate harmlessly, their energy scattering like water against an unyielding rock. The faint shimmer of the ship's kinetic barriers flickers briefly, a subtle but undeniable sign of their resilience. On the Dominion's bridge, silence falls like a heavy shroud. Kale's officers stare at their screens, their expressions a mixture of confusion and disbelief. "Grand Marshal," one of them stammers, his voice trembling, "their defenses they're holding." The beams had no effect. Kale's sneer vanishes, replaced by a scowl of anger and disbelief. "Impossible," he growls. Increase power, fire again. A second barrage follows, the beams brighter and more intense than before. The Dominion's fleet pours its fury into the Resolute, determined to break through its defenses. But the result is the same. The kinetic barriers hold firm, their faint glow a quiet but unyielding defiance against the Dominion's might. Aboard the Resolute, the crew watches as the enemy's attacks fail to even scratch their ship. Chief Engineer Marcus Hale leans back in his chair, a smirk spreading across his face. "Their fancy energy weapons can't touch us," he says, his voice laced with satisfaction. "Kinetic barriers are holding at 100%. Captain Ward's expression remains calm, though a flicker of resolve hardens in his eyes. He steps forward, his voice cutting through the tension like a blade. "If they want to fight," he says, his tone steady and commanding, "let's show them what we're capable of. Target their lead ship. Fire railguns." The order is carried out without hesitation. The Resolute's railguns, silent and deadly, unleash their payload. Solid metal projectiles, traveling at near-light speed, tear through the void with devastating precision. The first shot strikes the Dominion's lead ship, piercing its shields and hull in a single, brutal instant. On the Eclipse Sovereign, Kale watches in stunned silence as his once mighty flagship, the Starbreaker is reduced to a broken, drifting carcass. The destruction is swift and absolute, a stark reminder that the Dominion's supremacy is no longer guaranteed. The Resolute remains motionless, a shadow in the void, its presence a silent warning. For the first time in centuries, the Orion Dominion has encountered an enemy it cannot easily crush. And for the first time, Grand Marshal Kale feels the icy grip of fear. The void of space trembles with a violence unseen in centuries. The *Un's Resolute *, humanity's silent guardian, unleashes its fury with a precision that feels almost unnatural. Its railguns roar without sound, their deadly projectiles slicing through the darkness like meteors. These are not beams of light or plasma, but solid hunks of metal, propelled at speeds so unimaginable they blur the line between matter and energy. The first shot strikes the Dominion flagship, the Starbreaker with unrelenting force. The projectile tears through its shimmering shields as though they were nothing more than fragile glass, then rips into the hull with merciless precision. The ship, once a symbol of the Orion Dominion's invincible power, crumbles in an instant. Its sleek silver frame twists and fractures, flames bursting from its core as debris scatters into the void. The silence of space makes the destruction all the more haunting, a silent scream of ruin. On the bridge of the Eclipse Sovereign Grand Marshal Kale stares in disbelief, his crimson eyes wide with horror. The sight of his flagship, the pride of his fleet, reduced to floating wreckage sends a cold wave of dread washing over him. For centuries, Kale has ruled with unwavering arrogance, his confidence rooted in the Dominion's technological supremacy. But now, that arrogance shatters like the broken remains of the Starbreaker. "What kind of weapons are these?" Kale demands, his voice trembling with a mixture of anger and fear. His tactical officer hesitates, his scaled hands shaking as he struggles to find the words. "They're kinetic projectiles, Grand Marshal," he stammers, his voice barely above a whisper. "Solid matter moving at incredible speeds. Our shields, they weren't designed to stop physical objects like this." Kale's claws tighten around the railing before him, his knuckles pale against his metallic skin. The words hit him like a physical blow. For the first time, he realizes the Dominion's greatest strength, its advanced energy-based defenses, is utterly useless against this primitive yet devastating technology. Outside, the Resolute moves like a predator, its dark hull gliding through the chaos with an eerie calm. Its railguns fire again, their deadly payloads streaking through the void toward the Dominion fleet. One by one, the enemy ships fall, their elegant designs crumpling under the relentless assault. Explosions light up the darkness like dying stars, their fiery brilliance a stark contrast to the cold emptiness of space. Kale watches helplessly as his fleet is systematically dismantled. Each ship destroyed is a piece of his empire torn away, a blow to his once unshakable authority. The bridge of the Eclipse Sovereign is filled with the frantic voices of officers shouting orders, their panic palpable. But it is clear to everyone, their efforts are futile. Kale's arrogance, the foundation of his rule, crumbles under the weight of this unexpected defeat. He feels the icy grip of panic clawing at his chest, a sensation he has not known in centuries. His mind races, searching for a solution, but there is none. The Resolute is untouchable, its defenses impenetrable, its weapons unstoppable. "Order a retreat," Kale finally commands, his voice heavy with the bitterness of defeat. The words taste like ash in his mouth, a humiliation he never thought he would endure. The officers hesitate, their disbelief evident. A retreat? The Dominion has never retreated. To do so would be to admit weakness, to tarnish the legacy of an empire that has ruled unchallenged for millennia. But Kale's tone leaves no room for argument. "Now!" he roars, his voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. The Dominion fleet begins to pull back, their once-proud ships limping away from the battlefield. Their movements are slow, hesitant, as though the act of retreat itself is painful. The Resolute does not pursue. It remains motionless, a silent sentinel in the void, its dark silhouette a beacon of defiance. Kale watches the Resolute grow smaller on his viewport as his fleet retreats, his crimson eyes burning with a mixture of anger and humiliation. This defeat is more than a loss of ships. It is a loss of pride, of invincibility. The Dominion's reign, once unchallenged, now feels fragile, its supremacy shattered by a species they had dismissed as insignificant. As the Eclipse Sovereign limps away, Kale clenches his claws, his mind consumed by thoughts of vengeance. The Resolute's victory is absolute, but Kale knows this is only the beginning. Humanity has made its mark, but the Dominion will not forget. The silent void of space carries the weight of unspoken promises, promises of war, of retribution, of a battle far greater than this first clash. And yet, for now, the Resolute stands triumphant, a lone figure in the darkness, unyielding and unbroken. Humanity's defiance has shaken the stars themselves, and the galaxy will never be the same. Across the vast expanse of the galaxy, the news spreads like a spark igniting dry tinder. The Orion Dominion, once the unchallenged masters of countless worlds, has suffered its first defeat. The whispers begin in the shadows of darkened alleys, in the hushed gatherings of the oppressed. They are cautious at first, fragile like the first flicker of dawn after a long, starless night. But soon the whispers grow louder, carried by the winds of hope. On worlds where Dominion rule has crushed spirits and silenced dreams, new voices rise. In the minds of Kyrath 7 where enslaved workers toil under the weight of Dominion chains, whispers of rebellion echo through the tunnels. "They can be defeated," a miner mutters, his hands trembling as he grips his pickaxe. Others nod, their faces lighting with the faintest glimmer of possibility. In the sprawling cities of Xerac Prime where Dominion patrols stalk the streets like predators, the whispers take on a different tone, one of defiance. Graffiti appears overnight, scrawled in bold, jagged lines across Dominion propaganda posters. The resolute lives, freedom awaits. The Dominion soldiers erase the markings, but by the next day they return, stronger, brighter, angrier. Entire species, long resigned to their fate, now dare to dream of something more. The galaxy, once bound by the Dominion's iron grasp, begins to stir. It is not yet an uprising, but the seeds of rebellion have been sown, and they are spreading faster than the Dominion can contain. On Earth, in the heart of the United Nations Space Command, the mood is tense but resolute. The council chamber, a grand room lined with banners of Earth's nations, buzzes with activity. Leaders from every corner of the globe have gathered, their faces etched with a mixture of hope and fear. The victory of the UN's resolute asterisk has shaken the galaxy, but it has also drawn the attention of a dangerous enemy. Admiral Helena Drake, a woman with sharp features and a presence that commands the room, stands before the council. Her uniform is immaculate, her posture rigid, but her eyes betray the weight of the responsibility she carries. The Orion Dominion will not take this lightly, she begins, her voice steady but grave. Their pride has been wounded and their power has been challenged. They will return, and when they do, it will be with greater force than we've ever seen. This battle was only the beginning. The room falls silent, the gravity of her words sinking in. Drake scans the faces before her, politicians, generals, scientists, all of them grappling with the enormity of what lies ahead. But this is not just about Earth, she continues, her tone growing stronger, more resolute. This is about the galaxy. For millennia, the Dominion has ruled through fear and oppression. Now, for the first time, there is hope. Not just for us, but for every species they have subjugated. We must prepare, not just for ourselves, but for them, for the galaxy. Her words ignite something in the room. A spark of beyond Earth, humanity's reach begins to extend. Diplomatic missions are sent to the farthest corners of the galaxy, to worlds that have suffered under Dominion rule for centuries. These missions are not grand or ostentatious. They are humble, their message simple but powerful. On the barren plains of Velos 9 a lone human envoy stands before a gathering of the Veloci a species known for their resilience but broken by years of Dominion oppression. The envoy's voice carries across the wind, clear and unwavering. The Dominion is not invincible. Together we can stand against them. The Veloci listen, their scarred faces unreadable. But in their eyes something shifts, a faint flicker of hope, like the first breath of air after drowning. On Drakar's moon where the Dominion has stripped the land bare and left its people to starve, another envoy speaks to a crowd of hollow-eyed survivors. We fought them, she says, her voice trembling with passion. And we won. You are not alone. Humanity stands with you. The crowd remains silent at first, but then from the back a single voice rises, a cheer faint but defiant. Others join in, their voices growing louder, stronger, until the air is filled with the sound of hope reborn. The galaxy begins to awaken. On countless worlds, oppressed species look to the stars and see something they have not seen in millennia. A chance to fight, a chance to rise, a chance to reclaim what was stolen from them. And at the center of it all, humanity stands, a species once dismissed as insignificant, now a symbol of defiance. The UN's resolute may have been the spark, but the fire it has ignited is spreading, and it cannot be extinguished. For the first time, the Orion Dominion feels the weight of fear, not just of humanity, but of the galaxy itself. The stars, once silent witnesses to their tyranny, now burn with the promise of rebellion. The galaxy is awakening, and the Dominion's reign is no longer certain. The Orion Dominion, wounded and humiliated, gathers its strength like a storm brewing on the horizon. Task Force Zenith rises from the ashes of defeat, a fleet so vast it blots out the stars where it passes. Over 500 warships form its vanguard, their hulls gleaming with the cold, merciless light of Dominion engineering. At its heart looms the Eternal Fury ***, a dreadnought so massive it seems more like a moving fortress than a ship. Its presence alone is enough to inspire fear, a symbol of the Dominion's wrath and pride. Supreme General Tharex stands on the bridge of the Eternal Fury, his imposing figure silhouetted against the glow of distant nebulae. His armor, dark and angular, reflects his nature, a man of precision and cruelty. His voice cuts through the silence like a blade. "We will show these upstarts the true power of the Dominion," he declares, his tone cold and unyielding. His officers nod in solemn agreement, their faces set with grim determination. There is no room for failure. The galaxy is watching, and the Dominion's reputation hangs in the balance. The Proxima Nebula, a swirling expanse of ionized gas and shifting currents, becomes the stage for the battle. Its luminous clouds shimmer with eerie light, casting shadows that twist and stretch like specters. The nebula is treacherous, its dense particles interfering with sensors and communications. But for humanity, it is a sanctuary, a labyrinth in which they can hide, strike, and disappear. The **UN's resolute *** leads the charge, its dark hull blending seamlessly into the shadows of the nebula. Captain Ward stands at its helm, his eyes sharp and focused as he surveys the tactical display. His calm demeanor belies the storm raging within him, a fierce determination to protect his people and prove humanity's strength. "Use the nebula," Ward commands, his voice steady but firm. "Strike from the shadows, keep them guessing." The smaller human ships, like the nimble UNS Vanguard ***, dart through the nebula like wolves hunting in the dark. Their movements are swift and unpredictable, their hit-and-run tactics sowing chaos among the Dominion ranks. A Dominion cruiser, its shields glowing faintly in the mist, becomes their first target. The Vanguard emerges from the shadows, its weapons firing with deadly precision. The cruiser's engines sputter and die, leaving it adrift and vulnerable. Before the Dominion can retaliate, the Vanguard vanishes back into the gas clouds, leaving only confusion in its wake. Supreme General Tharex watches the chaos unfold, his jaw tightening with frustration. The nebula, once thought of as an obstacle, has become humanity's greatest weapon. His fleet, vast and powerful, is being hunted in the dark, its strength rendered useless against an enemy that refuses to fight on their terms. "Find them!" Tharex snarls, his voice echoing through the bridge. "Flush them out. Burn the nebula if you must." But the nebula is not so easily conquered. Its currents shift unpredictably, its ionized particles disrupting Dominion sensors and communications. The Eternal Fury, despite its immense power, is blind in this celestial maze. Meanwhile, fighter squadrons from the *UNS endeavor launch their assault. The sleek, agile ships weave through the nebula like birds in flight, their weapons targeting the engines of Dominion vessels. A Dominion destroyer, its hull bristling with weapons, becomes their prey. The fighters strike with precision, their missiles tearing into the destroyer's engines. Flames erupt from the ship's rear, illuminating the nebula in a brief, fiery burst. The destroyer, crippled and stranded, drifts helplessly as the fighters vanish into the mist. Tharex watches the destroyer's demise, his fists clenched in rage. He knows that every ship lost is a blow to the Dominion's pride, a crack in the armor of their supremacy. The battle rages on, a deadly game of cat and mouse in the shifting shadows of the nebula. The resolute asterisk, like a ghost, strikes with devastating precision before disappearing into the mist. Captain Ward coordinates the attacks with masterful skill, his commands crisp and calculated. "Hit their engines," Ward instructs. "Leave them stranded. Let the nebula finish them." Humanity's tactics, drawn from centuries of naval warfare on Earth, prove devastating. The Dominion, accustomed to overwhelming their enemies with brute force, struggles against an opponent that fights with cunning and adaptability. As the battle reaches its climax, the Proxima Nebula itself seems to come alive. The ionized gas, disturbed by the chaos, glows brighter, its currents swirling with greater intensity. The nebula becomes both ally and adversary, its shifting shadows hiding humanity's movements while threatening to engulf them entirely. Tharix, his patience worn thin, orders the eternal fury to unleash its full power. The dreadnought's weapons fire into the nebula, their blasts tearing through the mist like lightning. But the nebula absorbs the energy, its luminous clouds glowing brighter with each strike. The Dominion's fury only fuels the storm. In the end, the battle is not decided by strength, but by strategy. Humanity, though outnumbered and outgunned, uses the nebula to turn the tide. The Dominion fleet, battered and disoriented, begins to falter. Ships drift aimlessly, their engines disabled, their crews lost in the chaos. Supreme General Tharix, his pride shattered, orders a retreat. The words burn in his throat, a bitter admission of defeat. The eternal fury, once a symbol of Dominion power, leads the remnants of the fleet away from the nebula, its shadow disappearing into the void. As the Dominion retreats, the resolute asterisk and its allies emerge from the nebula, battered but victorious. The Proxima Nebula, once a stage for destruction, falls silent once more, its luminous clouds glowing faintly in the aftermath. Captain Ward stands on the bridge of the Resolute, his face etched with exhaustion but lit with triumph. Humanity has faced the might of the Dominion and prevailed. The battle is over, but the war is far from won. In the shadows of the nebula, a new chapter begins, a chapter of defiance, of resilience, of hope. The Dominion has struck back, but humanity has shown that they will not be broken. The galaxy watches, and the stars burn brighter with the promise of freedom. The Proxima Nebula churns with restless energy, its glowing clouds twisting like living beings caught in the throes of chaos. Lightning-like arcs of ionized gas illuminate the battlefield, casting eerie shadows over the Dominion fleet. The once mighty Armada, its ships stretching endlessly into the void, now falters against an enemy it cannot understand. Humanity's unconventional tactics, swift, precise, and unrelenting, have turned the Dominion's strength into its weakness. The fleet, designed for domination through brute force, is helpless against the invisible strikes emerging from the nebula's depths. Each attack is like the bite of a predator in the dark, leaving the Dominion vessels bleeding and vulnerable. At the heart of the Dominion fleet looms the eternal Fury asterisk, its colossal form a testament to the Orion Dominion's arrogance and power. The dreadnought's hull gleams faintly in the nebula's light, its presence commanding fear even in the midst of chaos. But now, cracks mar its once impenetrable armor, scars inflicted by humanity's cunning assaults. Supreme General Tharix stands rigid on the bridge, his fists clenched so tightly that his knuckles turn white. His calculating mind races, searching for a way to salvage the battle. Around him, officers scramble to relay orders, their voices strained with desperation. The Dominion's pride, its reputation, is crumbling before his eyes. "Hold the line!" Thyrex roars, his voice cutting through the din like a whip. "Do not let them break us." But his command is met with silence. The fleet is in disarray, its ships scattered and disoriented. The nebula, once thought of as an obstacle, has become humanity's greatest ally, a shroud of shadows that hides their movements and amplifies their strikes. From the depths of the nebula, the asterisk UN's resolute asterisk emerges like a phantom, its dark hull barely visible against the swirling mist. Captain Ward stands on its bridge, his expression grim but resolute. This is the moment he has been waiting for, the chance to strike at the heart of the Dominion's power. "Target the eternal fury," Ward commands, his voice steady despite the weight of the decision. "Full barrage, no mercy." The Resolute's railguns roar to life, their projectiles cutting through the nebula like shooting stars. The rounds slam into the eternal fury's shields, which shimmer and crack under the relentless assault. The dreadnought's hull groans as the projectiles tear through its armor, leaving jagged wounds that bleed fire and debris into the void. On the bridge of the eternal fury, Thyrex feels the impact like a physical blow. The ship trembles beneath his feet, its once impenetrable defenses shattered. For the first time, a flicker of doubt crosses his face, a crack in the facade of his unyielding confidence. The Resolute does not relent. Its railguns fire again and again, each strike driving deeper into the dreadnought's vulnerable core. Explosions ripple across the eternal fury's surface, casting fiery blooms into the nebula's swirling mists. The mighty dreadnought, the symbol of Dominion supremacy, begins to falter. Thyrex grips the edge of his command console, his mind racing. He has underestimated humanity, their resilience, their ingenuity. He knows now that the battle is lost, that to stay is to invite total annihilation. "Order the retreat," he says at last, his voice low and bitter. The words taste like ash in his mouth, a humiliating admission of defeat. The officers hesitate, their faces pale with disbelief. But Thyrex's glare leaves no room for argument. The order is relayed, and the Dominion fleet begins its withdrawal, its ships limping away from the nebula like wounded beasts. For the second time, the Orion Dominion suffers a crushing defeat. The eternal fury, once a symbol of invincibility, drifts in the nebula's embrace, its once pristine hull scarred and broken. The Dominion's pride, its claim to galactic supremacy, lies shattered. As the fleet retreats, the nebula falls silent once more, its luminous clouds glowing faintly in the aftermath. The asterisk UN's resolute asterisk and its allies emerge victorious, their ships battered but unbroken. Captain Ward watches the retreating fleet, his expression a mix of triumph and exhaustion. Humanity has won, but the cost has been high, and the war is far from over. Across the galaxy, the news spreads like wildfire. The Dominion, the unchallenged overlords of countless worlds, has been defeated not once, but twice. On subjugated planets, whispers of rebellion grow louder, transforming into shouts of defiance. In the minds of Kyrath 7 where workers have long labored under Dominion chains, the news sparks an uprising. Pickaxes and tools become weapons, and the enslaved rise against their oppressors. Dominion guards, once feared, are overwhelmed by the sheer force of the rebellion. On Xerac Primasterisk, the graffiti that once marked the walls of Dominion-controlled cities grows bolder. Entire murals appear overnight, depicting the Resolute and its allies as symbols of hope. Crowds gather in secret, their voices rising in chants of freedom. The galaxy, once bound by the Dominion's iron grip, begins to awaken. Species long resigned to their fate now dare to dream of liberation. From the depths of the nebula to the farthest reaches of space, the stars burn brighter with the promise of change. And at the center of it all stands humanity, a species once dismissed as insignificant, now a beacon of defiance. The turning point has come, and the Dominion's reign is no longer certain. The galaxy watches, and the battle for freedom begins anew. The station *** Harmony Nexus floats in the void like a solitary island in an endless sea of stars. Its smooth, silver architecture gleams faintly, a symbol of neutrality and fragile hope. Within its walls, the air is heavy with tension, as if the universe itself holds its breath. This is where the fate of countless worlds will be decided, a place where enemies meet not with weapons, but with words. The chamber chosen for the negotiations is vast and circular, its high ceilings adorned with intricate carvings of constellations from every corner of the galaxy. A long table sits at its center, polished to a mirror-like sheen, reflecting the faces of those gathered around it. The room is silent, save for the faint hum of the station's life support systems. On one side of the table sits Ambassador Clara Monroe ***, her posture upright, her expression calm but resolute. She is a woman of sharp intellect and unyielding determination, chosen to represent humanity in this historic moment. Her presence radiates both strength and compassion, a beacon of hope for those who have suffered under Dominion rule. Across from her sits Chancellor Verk ***, the Dominion's chosen negotiator. His features are sharp and severe, his eyes cold and calculating. Draped in the dark robes of his office, he exudes an air of authority, but there is a weariness to him, a shadow of the Dominion's recent defeats. Between them, the table feels like a battlefield, each word a weapon, each pause a calculated maneuver. Ambassador Monroe begins, her voice steady but carrying the weight of countless voices behind it. "The era of conquest is over," she declares, her gaze fixed firmly on Verk. "The Dominion's reign has brought only suffering and rebellion. The galaxy is changing, Chancellor, and you must change with it." Her words hang in the air, their truth undeniable. Across the galaxy, the flames of rebellion burn brighter with each passing day. The Dominion, once unchallengeable, now teeters on the edge of collapse. Monroe continues, her tone softening slightly but losing none of its conviction. "We propose a * galactic coalition ***, where all civilizations, humanity, Dominion, and others can govern themselves as equals. No more rulers, no more oppression. Together we can build a future where every species has a voice." Chancellor Verk's jaw tightens, his hands clasped tightly in front of him. The idea of surrendering the Dominion's authority is an affront to everything he has ever known. For centuries, the Dominion has seen itself as the galaxy's rightful ruler, its guidance a necessity to maintain order. He leans forward, his voice low and deliberate. "Without our guidance, the galaxy will fall into chaos," he argues, his tone laced with both frustration and conviction. "You speak of equality, but you fail to understand the cost. The Dominion has brought stability, structure. Without us, there will be anarchy." His words are met with silence, but not agreement. The weight of his argument is undermined by the reality of the Dominion's actions. Worlds stripped of their resources, species enslaved, cultures erased. From the shadows of the room, Captain Ward steps forward. Though not an official diplomat, his role in humanity's victories has made him a key figure in these talks. His presence commands respect, his words carrying the weight of experience and sacrifice. "The galaxy doesn't need rulers," Ward says, his voice calm but firm. "It needs allies." He pauses, letting the words sink in before continuing. "We've seen what happens when power is concentrated in the hands of a few. Oppression, rebellion, war. But imagine what we could achieve if we worked together, not as conquerors and subjects, but as equals. Together, we can build something better. Something lasting." His words resonate, not just with Monroe and her delegation, but with some among the Dominion's representatives. Even Verk cannot entirely dismiss the vision Ward paints. A galaxy united not by fear, but by mutual respect and cooperation. The negotiations continue, each side presenting their arguments, their visions for the future. The tension in the room ebbs and flows like the tide, moments of heated debate giving way to cautious understanding. Monroe speaks of liberation, of the countless lives that could be saved, the cultures that could flourish if the Dominion relinquished its iron grip. She tells stories of rebellion, of workers on Kyrath 7 who rose up with nothing but hope, of children on Xerac Prime who dream of a future free from fear. Verk counters with warnings of chaos, of the dangers of fragmentation. He speaks of the Dominion's history, of the order it has maintained, the wars it has prevented. But even as he speaks, there is a flicker of doubt in his eyes. He knows the Dominion's power is waning, its authority challenged at every turn. As the hours stretch on, the atmosphere in the chamber begins to shift. The Dominion's delegation, once rigid and unyielding, starts to soften. The weight of their recent defeats, the mounting rebellions, the undeniable truth of humanity's resilience, all of it chips away at their resolve. For Verk, the turning point comes not from words, but from silence. He looks across the table at Monroe, at Ward, at the faces of those who have fought so hard for freedom. He sees not enemies, but equals, beings who, despite their differences, share the same hopes, fears, and dreams. He exhales slowly, the weight of centuries pressing down on him. "If we agree to these terms," he says at last, his voice heavy with reluctance, "what guarantee do we have that the galaxy will not descend into chaos?" Monroe meets his gaze, her expression unwavering. "There are no guarantees, Chancellor, but we believe in the strength of unity, in the strength of hope. Together we can face whatever challenges come our way." The room falls silent once more, the air thick with anticipation. The galaxy waits, its fate balanced on the edge of a knife. And then, slowly, Verk nods. It is not a gesture of defeat, but of acceptance, a recognition that the old ways can no longer endure. The first steps toward peace are taken, fragile but full of promise. The galaxy, fractured and scarred, begins to heal, and in the quiet halls of Harmony Nexus, a new era dawns. The signing of the *** Galactic Accord ** is a moment etched into the fabric of history, a quiet revolution that ripples across the stars. The grand hall where the ceremony takes place is alive with anticipation, its towering pillars and shimmering banners representing the unity of countless worlds. Delegates from every corner of the galaxy stand side by side, their diverse appearances a testament to the vastness of the cosmos. The air hums with emotion, hope, relief, and the bittersweet weight of endings. Humanity's ambassador Clara Monroe steps forward, her voice steady as she declares the dissolution of the Orion Dominion. Her words echo through the hall, marking the end of an era defined by oppression and conquest. In its place rises the ** Galactic Coalition ***, a fragile but promising alliance where every species retains its sovereignty, yet pledges to cooperate in trade, exploration, and mutual defense. It is a vision of shared strength, where unity is forged not through domination, but through understanding. Across the galaxy, the Accord's impact is immediate. On worlds once crushed beneath the Dominion's rule, the chains of oppression fall away. Cities long shadowed by dread begin to rebuild, their streets filling with laughter and hope. Humanity, once seen as an insignificant player in the vast galactic stage, now emerges as a leader in innovation and cooperation. They share their technology with former Dominion species, bridging the divide between kinetic and energy-based systems to create defenses stronger than ever before. Scientists and engineers from countless civilizations work side by side, their minds united in pursuit of progress. Exploration fleets, composed of ships from dozens of worlds, venture into the uncharted depths of space. Their hulls bear the emblem of the Coalition, a symbol of unity that shines brightly against the darkness. These fleets seek not conquest but discovery, new allies, new knowledge, and perhaps even the secrets of the universe itself. On Earth, the transformation is profound. Parks once filled only with human children now echo with the laughter of younglings from countless species. A child with iridescent scales plays tag with another whose translucent wings shimmer in the sunlight. Their parents watch from nearby benches, their conversations a blend of languages and cultures, yet filled with shared dreams for the future. The streets of Earth's cities are alive with vibrant markets where traders from across the galaxy exchange goods and stories. Musicians from far-off worlds perform alongside human artists, their melodies weaving together in harmonious celebration. It is a vision of what the galaxy can become, a tapestry of diversity, bound together not by fear but by mutual respect. Far away, on a quiet and forgotten world, citizen Tharix lives in solitude. The former Supreme General of the Orion Dominion, once feared across the stars, now spends his days tending to a small garden beneath the shade of alien trees. His hands, once used to command fleets that brought destruction, now work the soil with quiet diligence. He reflects on the mistakes of his empire, the arrogance, the cruelty, the blind pursuit of power. At night, he gazes at the stars, their light no longer a reminder of conquest, but of possibility. He wonders if the galaxy can truly heal, if the scars left by the Dominion can fade. And though he cannot undo the past, he finds solace in the thought that perhaps, in some small way, he can contribute to the future. On the Un's resolute **, Captain Ward stands on the bridge, his gaze fixed on the endless expanse of stars before him. The ship hums with quiet energy, its crew composed of beings from worlds once divided by war. They work together seamlessly, their shared purpose forging bonds stronger than any weapon. Ward's thoughts drift to the battles fought, the lives lost, and the sacrifices made to reach this moment. He knows the journey is far from over, that the path ahead will be filled with challenges. But for the first